Hello, so today is going to be a VOD review of a game. So things are a little bit messed up, I think. Let me move it up a smidge. There we go. But basically this game's going to be a Kindred baboom game. So I don't care what people say. I don't care if you know this. I don't care if you've done this already. I don't care if you saw like 10 other streamers do this. This will always in my head be my tech. This is my secret tech. This is the sauce. If you've watched all the videos on this channel, I commend you. Thank you. Make sure that you're subscribed. If you don't watch the videos on my channel, I've done a lot of videos and I always mention it. Like, if you can hit baboom with Dryad reroll, it is one of the strongest combinations ever, just because the way it works, it's like, it's fucking broken. It's broken to the point where, like, I was saying it probably has to get nerfed if people catch on to this, but like, you know, it's fucked, right? And the reason is just because the way that they attack and the way that they cast, it basically gives like 100% uptime of maximum damage. Like, imagine Final Ascension without any like, any sort of criteria. That's how Dryad baboom works, kind of. So we'll talk about it a lot more. Like, we'll go over the stats and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about in particular about these things. But as of course, we'll start with doing the little thing. Thank you for all the support. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We're gonna have an RP giveaway at 500 subs. We just finished our previous giveaway, so make sure to subscribe if you want to be entered in that, and follow the instructions when we get close to our goal. Thank you. Yep, so the galaxy that we're playing with is the prismatic party galaxy. So we're basically just looking for a prismatic trait. I basically have a faded opener. As you can see, I have the what's it called? Oh, I need to move this a little bit. Everything's all messed up. There we go. So basically I have a Kindred, I have Ari, I have Thresh, so I have a decent faded opener. I don't have any item like unit pairs like in particular. You know, from this spot, you know, if I get a faded crown, if I get anything that kind of plays towards this faded line, I'm kind of okay with that. It's not necessarily bad. I have just a singular glove as a component though, which is a little bit awkward to play around. But basically we're just going to pair Ari and Kindred. We're going to try our best. Let's see what we get. And I get a bunch of gold, so I just try and make econ here. I don't think I sold in time, so I didn't make the 10. But, you know, I was just a little bit slow with my orbs and, like, dealing with it. Anyways, there's Warden Crown. There's Lucky Gloves, which I was thinking of considering. I'm considering taking Lucky Gloves here. Build-A-Bud is a little bit risky. The reason I don't take Lucky Gloves is because I feel like with a Syndra comp, you kind of want particular items, and the Lucky Gloves doesn't really cut it. But the option was Lucky Gloves or Baboom. Now, Baboom is an augment that basically works by every other cast, you do increased damage for 2 seconds. That's basically what it works. Every other cast, your units do 75% more damage for 2 seconds. So the idea is that obviously if you pick it in general, it's supposed to just work like you cast, you do some bonus damage, right? And it's every other cast. But if you're playing towards lines where the units have very low mana and are constantly casting, then what ends up happening is you basically have like a constant uptime, right? Because if you can cast twice within 2 seconds or close to 2 seconds, then you basically have a constant uptime with Baboom. And that works extremely well with people like Gnar, people like Kindred. It also works well with Syndra in general, right? Like, the whole faded line is pretty good. But I'll show you what the stats is. This is something that I discovered on my own. I didn't watch another streamer. I didn't, like, a lot of the tech I learned, like a lot of the comps I learned, it's like I see somebody who's like challenger level player, much better than me, and they kind of show me what to do, and I kind of learn these things, right? The same as everybody else, right? I'm not any different from anybody else, right? When you're learning and being creative with the comps, a lot of times it's a matter of like figuring it out for yourself, right? Figuring out, having somebody else figure out for you rather than figure out for yourself. I looked at the stats on this Baboom, right? If we look at it, it averages a 4.5. It's very average, right? It's extremely average. It's not like, you know, it's not a broken prismatic augment, right? If we go augments here and we sort by prismatic and we go by placement, right? Sniper crown, umbo crown, golden egg, pumping up, like all of these are really like, you know, these are the common ones that you see, right? Either a spat, Lucky Gloves, right? I passed up on Lucky Gloves, right? But Lucky Gloves is really good. Starter kit, like all of these are better, right? Tiny but deadly, Living Forge, Warden Crown, it says is better placement. Well, why is Baboom so low, right? Because baboom doesn't really do anything. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a useless augment almost, because a lot of units, they take longer than 2 seconds to do their multiple casts. And then you have like 75% damage increase like occasionally in the round. It's very non-impactful. But check this out, right? Relative delta. Why is it so negative on Kindred and Kayn? Right, this isn't the Syndra comp, right? If you look, like Syndra casts really fast as well, right? If I hover over Syndra, it should say how much mana she has, or she has 30 mana, right? So you expect Syndra to cast really fast, and it helps Syndra a lot, right? But you see a lot of faded units. But what do you see more of? You see Azir, you see Ornn, right? You see Rek'Sai, you see Kindred, you see Gnar, right? It obviously got a little bit better. They nerfed Dryads quite a bit, right? This was tech from before. But the thing is, to really unlock this line, if you go baboom, right, and then you go like Kindred, let's just say we go Kindred, right, average is a 4. Okay, it's already improved by a lot. Kindred 3, look at that. Did you see what just happened there? Right, this average is like a 4, right? You're just playing like whatever. You put a 3-star Kindred, you're in the 2s. You're in the 2s already. Put a Gnar 3 as well, right? Like just play reroll, right? You're in a 2.5, right? And look, if you have an Ornn, it's a minus 1.7 delta to play an Ornn on top of that, right? Like if you go Kindred here and you go Ornn 2, like you just play vertical Dryads. You don't even have to worry about the faded line. The vertical Dryad version of this is so fucking broken. And it just works, and you'll see why in this game. Now, I've played this line before. I think I actually made a video on it, and also when I talked about Dryad reroll, I talked about the thing already, right? There's a lot of stuff that's like really important, like a lot of moving parts to it. But like, look at this. If you got blue buff Kindred, you're averaging in the 2s, and it gets better and better. Like if your spot is actually good, like you have decent items on your units, right? Like let's say you put like an actual like a jewel gauntlet, like you have like this items on Kindred and you have this, it unlocks so much, right? It's such a strong item combination just by the way the units are designed and the way they work. Now I'm playing this comp, right? The other thing I did show that it is negative on Syndra. Like it's fine to play it with Syndra. You can actually play the Syndra line as well. It's a common thing to do, right? Baboom isn't that bad on faded in general because a lot of them have low mana and do a lot of damage, right? You can play a faded version of the Kindred line, but as you can see, it showed that Kayn was really high up there. That's because if you're playing the Dryad reroll, typically your board has Kayn on it, right? If you're playing Dryad reroll, let's go like Team Builder, right? If you're playing towards Dryad reroll, it's something along the lines of like Kayn, this guy, Kindred, where is it? Rek'Sai, you know, Azir if possible, Ornn, and then you usually put like Shen, Aatrox, right? And Alawi, where's Alawi? Alawi, right? You typically have something like this kind of setup, right? Kayn I usually put in the back so he doesn't get targeted first, but you have something like this, right? Where you're playing 4 Dryad, 4 Ghostly, and then you have the Reaper synergy with Kayn, right? This is like the main combination, right? So when you look at the Explorer, right? If you look at the let's just go like Augments, let's just go Baboom, right? If you look at Baboom, right, and you go by traits, right, and placement, 10 Mythic is really good, 6 Dryad is insanely good, right, because that's the Dryad version. Heavenly is really good, 4 Reaper is very strong, because you're basically just playing around Kindred. You're playing like Kindred Gnar, but you're stacking 4 Reapers, so the Kindred does more damage. But as you can see, like, 7 Faded is like very low compared to some of the other ones, right? Like obviously like these ones are a little bit better, and then like 5 Faded is even worse, right? 4 Dryad is really good, but you can still play it with like 5 Faded, 4 Dryad, right? These are options that you can play, right? It's just to illustrate that like the board that the stats are affecting is the Kindred reroll line, right? So I'm not really slamming anything because I have a tier and I have a glove, right? I can make blue buff for Kindred. I found this random Ash out of nowhere. Sorry, I don't have the inking set up today. I just came back from convention. And I could talk about that some other day, maybe in an update video. And there's going to be a new tutorial this week for those of you that love the tutorials on this channel. But anyways, now that we looked at the stats, hopefully I can convince you through the gameplay. Now, I've played this line before. I feel like I'm pretty uncontested Kindred. There is one guy that's heavily leaning towards playing Syndra, though. So that kind of forces me to think, okay, what do I have to do here in order to play towards, like, I'm trying to think, like, is faded here good? I'm trying to build, like, a strong board. I just want to preserve HP, because eventually I'm going to have to send it, right? I'm going to send it early, and I might commit to reroll. Or I can just play towards Syndra, right? My items are pretty shit, right? I could make QSS Titans for a Gnar, but I have 0 Gnars, so the chance of me rerolling Gnar are very slim. I don't really want to slam Shiv early. I kind of want to just see what my Prismatic Augment is, and I'll just decide, right? Based on my Prismatic Augment, I'll decide what items to slam. Because it could change very drastically. I might just go Baboom. Baboom's really bad with snipers. I thought I might be a little bit better with snipers. But it's pretty shit on Ashe. So I probably want to play some sort of AP line. I can always make Adaptive Helm. And then some kind of frontline item. So it's probably Adaptive Helm Steadfast, right? Something like that. My items don't really work supremely well. If I had a Gnar, I could definitely make QSS Titans, and that's like Gnar Bis, and then I just need a healing item, which could be Hodge or something else. Wait, I got Lucky Gloves Plus. Oh, because I got Lucky Gloves, and now I got Lucky Gloves Plus. So Lucky Gloves Plus is an option here, because then I could just itemize everybody right off rip, right? So I think I'll roll Lucky Gloves Plus after, because it gives me 3 sparring gloves. The other one gave me 2 sparring gloves. I see 2 for 1, right? You see 2 for 1 on the far right? I'm probably just going to take 2 for 1 here. It's my best choice because I'm going reroll. It guarantees me that I'm going to hit my units, right? Because the 3-star Kindred matters a lot. Now, I'm going to explain something very, 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 very important, right? This is something that, in case you don't know, this is what happens, right? So I rolled the first one. I see 2 for 1, right? I don't reroll Ascension. I don't reroll Lucky Gloves, right? The reason I don't reroll them is because it's Prismatic Party. Prismatic Party, there is a very there's a very small amount of Prismatic Augments in the game relative to the other ones. So when you're playing Prismatic Party, what ends up happening is you thin out the pool, right? Think like a deck of cards. The way augments work in this game is if you see an augment one turn, you cannot see the same augment later in the game. So for example, I see Final Ascension here. If I do not take Final Ascension, I will never see Final Ascension again. That is the way it works. So what I am trying to avoid here is I know that I'm going to take 2 for 1. The reason I'm taking 2 for 1 is because I can just full greed, guarantee myself Kindred 3 and Gnar 3 maybe, or I can guarantee myself Econ to eventually find Azir, and I can play towards this Dryad line. Lucky Gloves Plus is the other option if I wanted to play maybe towards Syndra, but because there is a guy in the lobby that is hard, like he looks like he's forcing towards Syndra, I do not want to debate with him. I do not want to fight him to play Syndra. So the Lucky Gloves for me doesn't seem as important because I'd rather just greed my items 2 for 1, make Kindred items, and then win out, right? I don't roll the augments because the other way to cap out this board, the way to, like, this board will get a top 4 guaranteed if I hit Kindred 3. But in order to get a first in the lobby, I need a Dryad emblem. So I do not want to roll the augment and see the Dryad emblem because then I will not be able to see it again later. So what I do here is I just select 2 for 1 and I do not roll these augments because I know I'm taking 2 for 1 and I do not want to see a Dryad emblem. And I'm hoping because there's a high chance I'll see Dryad emblem now as well as later because there's so few prismatic augments that if you that as you see them, right, I rolled all 3 of them in the first turn, so I saw 6, and here I saw 4 total, so I saw 10. I think there's only like, how many prismatic augments are there? I'll count. Wait. So augments, prismatic. There's not that many, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 20. There's like 60 or so, whatever. You know what I mean? But I want to give myself the best odds of the Dryad spat because there is tailoring as well, right? There's a higher percentage chance that I'll get a Dryad emblem because I have Dryad units on my board, right? There's a lot of the augments that I just won't get because if I get an emblem augment, it will tailor it to Dryad, right? I'm not going to get like Invoker Crown or Bruiser Crown, typically. I might get Bruiser Crown. I won't get Porcelain Crown, for example, right? There's a lot of stuff that like they might show up, and some of them only show up on 2-1. So I take 2 for 1 here. Basically, I'm one off finding Kindred 3 now. Oh, also, that's another thing. Oops. Oh, no. What did I do? What did I do? Ah! Sorry, my whole shit's broken. I've been out of town. So, yeah. So, I'm basically just playing towards finding this Kindred. And I see the Kindred. I buy the Kindred, right? Oh yeah, this was the turn I wanted to talk to you about. So this was a mistake I made here, right? So right after I took 2 for 1, right? I just want to point this out for learning purposes. So you see how there's 2 Kindreds here? I should not have bought the second Kindred, right? I buy it, but that's bad because what I could have done is I could have locked the shop and used my 2 for 1 next turn on the Kindred. Because the way 2 for 1 works is when you buy a unit that's lower, that's 3 cost or lower, it will give you 2 copies of it. So I could have more efficiently bought 2 extra Kindred. Now it worked out because I found a Kindred really easily next turn. Here I'm just setting it up, right? The Kindred was in my shop, first shop anyways. So now I'm 1 off Kindred. I'm full greeting items, right? You might look at my bench and be like, why does he have so many items on his bench? Like, what is he doing? That's like what gold players do or silver players do, but he's in a master's lobby. He's master rank. Why does he have so many items on his bench? The reason I have the items on the bench is because I am confident that with this setup of Baboom and Kindred 3, that I will get a top 4 no matter what. So what I am doing is I am full greeting my items. I do not care if I lose HP. So long as I'm like 1 or 2, so long as I'm 2 lives, right? So long as I have enough HP to make sure that I don't get randomly fucking RNG'd by some board, right? So long as I have enough HP to deal with like random some guy like Giga high rolling, I will probably get a top 4, right? So I just want to preserve HP. I'm going to keep my items. I'm going to sit here. And look, this guy beats me. That's fine. I probably beat this guy if I slammed items, right? The thing is, I have like half of every Kindred item that's really good. Here they add a defensive component. I really want either a rod or a tier. There is a cane with a rod and a belt. That is perfect. Belt is also good. Kindred Bis. That guy takes it. That's fine. I would love a belt. I would love a rod. I would love a tier. So I need either a belt, a rod, or a tier. So I take the 2 belts, right? The reason is I think I can show the stats again. So let's go stats. You guys see the stats yet? There we go. You guys see the stats. Let's go explore. Let's go Baboom. Kindred. 3-star items. Typically what you want to give this Kindred, what you want to give her is sorry if I say he, by the way. For some reason, Kindred, I always mess it up. It's a she. I know now. I'm just really bad at it because, I don't know. I mess up all of them. But I just feel bad because somebody pointed it out one time. Blue buff, Jewel Gauntlet, Nashers. So Nashers is really good. Red buff is really good. Jewel Gauntlet's really good, as well as blue buff. So right now, I'm kind of aiming towards like blue buff, JG, Nashers. But I've played this line before, and the items are quite flexible, right? So long as you have like AP and attack speed-esque items, you're good, right? You want to give like a lot of AP and a lot of attack speed, and you'll be happy. This is the guy I was talking about. New recruit, greater duplicator, playing towards, I think playing towards like the Ari, the Syndra Ari faded line, like that version. Here, there's a Kindred in my shop, right? I already bought a unit. I think I messed up my turn a little bit. There was one turn that I accidentally rolled, or I accidentally bought a Teemo. I think that was the turn. But I just locked the shop because there's a Kindred there. I bought something else. I guarantee Kindred 3. It's all fine. But I think that was the turn that I accidentally bought, like, what's it called? I accidentally bought a Teemo. Like, I misclicked. I don't know if it showed it on the screen because I was going through the stats. But that's why I didn't have Kindred 3 that turn, which was a bit unfortunate. But look at my health. My health is 54 health. And I have Kindred 3. Now, we're going to let the Choppa sing, as Schwarzenegger had said in one of those movies that I forget. Watch my Kindred damage output. We'll see it pop up on the side. This guy has a Ghostly spat. He's playing towards like the Zyra Ghostly line. I don't think he has a chance. Maybe this turn he beats me, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I think I lose this turn. My Kindred only has 1 item, though. Yeah, this guy spiked really hard, because I think he's also level 7. Yeah, for sure. So that guy doesn't win. That's not the best excuse, right? We just need some items to get dropped, right? If I don't get dropped another tier, I'm going to make Adaptive Helm. If I don't get dropped a Rod, I'll make Guard Breaker, right? So my slams right now, if I were to make it, right now I'm just rolling because I have my 2 for 1. So I want to make sure that I 2 for 1 buy a unit that is actually useful to my board. So I make sure to buy the Shen here. And then I might just push levels here. I know that Dryad reroll, you typically want Kindred Gnar, but when you're so far off of 1, right, here I hit Kindred 3 instantly, right? A lot of times I'd be rolling a lot deeper now to try and hit Kindred 3 because I would have wasted some of my 2-for-1 value on finding Gnar, right? So I get dropped blue tier, so I have blue buff. If I didn't get dropped a tier, like I said, the mana item I would have made was Adaptive Helm, and then because Adaptive Helm gives mana and AP. It's not the best on Kindred. If you look at the stats, it's not necessarily good, but it's fine. You just need to put something on the unit, or else I'll just lose the game. And then I would have made like Guard Breaker. That was my plan. But I wanted to greed. I'm full greeding because I think I could play towards first, right? In my head, I'm pretty much guaranteed to get a top 4. All I need is Dryad Spat. If I get a Dryad Spat, it's a first. If I get a Dryad Spat, it's a first. If it's not a first with a Dryad Spat, then, you know, come to me on my Twitch channel when I'm live playing TFT and say, I had Dryad Spat, baboom, Kindred 3 items, and I didn't go first, and I will be like, sorry. You know, I'll just say sorry because I'm broke and I can't, like, make any bets, but I'll say sorry, right? But in my head, I don't think anybody can outcap me unless they have some crazy shit. What do I get? I get Dryad Crown. GG, the game's fucking over. Shake my hand. Alright? We're done. We're done. Video's over. Go home. We're done. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. So according to the stats, I think the best Dryad Spat holder is Kayn. It's either Kayn or Alawi, right? If you're going for Alawi 3, you typically put the Dryad Spat on Alawi because it gives a lot of front line. If you're going for like a dual carry, then you put it on Kayn, I find. It just gives a lot of value because the Kayn does a lot of damage. So here, I already have a Titans that I made. So I have Titans, and then I can make a Bloodthirster or a Hodge off of Carousel, right? So I'm either going to take a Tear or a Sword off of Carousel, and I'll make the item for Kayn. Now, I don't have Shred yet, right? So ideally, I should make Hodge, and then I can hold the cape for Shred. But, you know, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. March of Progress, 6 Duelists. What do we have? We have, what's it called? Volibear 3, Tristana. Ready? Watch my Kindred. Look, 1,000 damage. 1,000 damage. Boom, 1,000 damage. Ready? Bang, 1,000 damage. One more time, Kindred. The game's fucking over. I'm not even at 6 Dryad yet, right? Now, the reason the game's over, I'll explain it in more logical terms. Obviously, I'm a bit hyped. I had like a really long day. Today's the last day of the convention that I was spending all month prepping for. So, you know, it's a lot of stress release. And, you know, this video is kind of me just like kind of taking out a lot of that nervous energy in terms of just me explaining one of my favorite comps and one of my favorite things to run this set. So because I'm so far off of Gnar, I'm not really using the 2-for-1 to hit the units. Like, I'm not rolling deep to try and hit Gnar 3. I'm just tempo leveling because now I just want to find an Azir. I want to make it to level 9 because this board is complete. At level 9, I just shove in Azir and then I win. The reason this board is so strong is because not only is Kindred pumping out a shit ton of damage. Look, boom. Every shot that Kindred takes, she does like 1,000 damage. Right? There is no front line that can take this. I have no Shred right now, by the way, right? Do you think I care that I have no Shred? No, I'm one-shotting everything. Look at this Kindred. Watch the Kindred closely. Everybody's dead already. The Kindred did 14,000 damage. I don't even have Kayn 2. I don't have Gnar 3. I have nothing, right? Now, the thing that makes this comp really fucking strong is that not only are you really strong because you're reroll, right? I spiked early. I'm going to win a lot of fights. You get Dryad stacks, right? The Dryad stacks scale infinitely. Your comp gets infinite scaling frontline, right? Especially if you get in 6 Dryad. That's why I said if I get the emblem, it's a first guaranteed. Because I'm gonna have Ornn 2. Like, there's no way I don't get Ornn 2 by the end of the game unless somebody like hits Ornn 3, right? But if I find an Azir, right? As soon as I find an Azir, everybody just gets so much HP. My whole frontline, even my Kayn, who works as like a dual carry, is gonna have so much HP. So with all of this HP that it's just so much tankiness, right? And the other enemy team, eventually I need Shred, right? If I can get Shred, then it would be golden, right? Because then I do even more damage with the Kindred, right? But this works really well, even with a Gnar, right? If you don't have a Dryad +1, I would suggest going for Gnar 3 as well. You don't really need like the Azir. You don't really need anything else. This board's pretty complete. So you can stay on level 8 and just like roll most your gold on level 8. Try and hit Gnar 3 on level 8 if you don't already have it. Hit the Kayn 2, hit the Ornn 2, right? You don't really have to go 9. You could like maybe fit in like a set and faded, right? That's something you can do on 9. Actually, yeah. You go 9 and you fit in set and faded, right? You can play set for ward and then you can play faded and it makes the Kindred do more damage. But yeah, look at this. I did 13,000 damage, 14,000, 1,400 damage. Boom. That's it. Every second, I'm doing 1,400 damage, right? If people aren't cranking that type of numbers, they're not going to chew through my front line before the Kindred kills them, right? That's just how this works, right? That's why, like, I'm in a spot where it's like, barring some crazy shit, like somebody gets a 3-star legendary or like a 3-star 4 cost, this faded guy, do you think I'm scared of him? No, I just dodged a bullet because he's going for Syndra. I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna roll deep early, I'm gonna get my Kindred, I'm gonna get out of here. And the thing is, my front line is just progressively getting more tanky. I'm gonna get more items. I can itemize the Gnar next, I can itemize the Shen next, I can itemize everybody else. All these other units don't matter, right? Look at this. Before, I guarantee the Syndra is dead before my front line dies. Right? And Kindred also hits 2 units. She's like, she's the fucking greatest unit in this game. I swear to God. If you get baboom with Kindred, watch this. Ready? Look, my front line's still alive. This guy has Ascension. Ascension just kicked in. They killed the Kindred, right? Okay, I lost this fight. Don't worry about this fight. Okay, what happened is my Kindred griefed. That's why I said you have to be a couple lives. Because this is the only problem with the comp, right? I'll point it out. I'll be honest. Look at where my Kindred is. My Kindred, she's all the way in the back row, and then she fucking runs up to the Syndra. Hello? I got fucking RNG. She literally just grabs the aggro of the Syndra. It's so annoying. That happens sometimes. And that wasn't even a positioning thing. I put my Kindred in the corner, and my Kindred literally like jumped like 4 times to the right until she ran into the opponent's backline. Like, that's not even my fault. That's Kindred's fault. But anyways, that's what can happen sometimes. That's why I say don't go to 1 life, right? Whenever you're playing Dryad, you have to be in a spot where you have a couple lives, because sometimes things just RNG, especially when you're playing like melee units like Kayn and Gnar. Sometimes they awkwardly wrap, sometimes they get aggroed, sometimes they get stunned awkwardly and you just lose the game. You always want to have a couple lives when you're playing like these particular kind of reroll comps where they're not like a consistent, like, this is what happens every fight. Whenever units like move around weirdly and shit, you just gotta be ready for it, right? But that's the only reason I lost against that guy. I'm way stronger than him. Okay, that faded guy is not going top 4. Well, he might go top 4, but he's not getting first. I'm getting first. Here I just make TG. I got 2 gloves. Gnar, now Gnar has 2 items. It doesn't matter that they're not the best items. Just having 2 items on Gnar is good. I'm holding this tier because, you know, a tier, if I get a bow, is a shred component, right? So like sometimes on carousel there's just a singular component on some of the units, even in the the later carousels. So I'm hoping to eventually find shred, right? That's what my comp is missing right now. I just do so much damage that it doesn't really matter, but in some fights it might matter, especially late game. Usually I would prioritize it. My items were really weird, right? I spend most of the game like not doing any items. As you can see, this guy fucking dead. Everybody's fucking dead. Just watch this Kindred damage, right? Like, we need to, like it's like fucking Doom Eternal for everybody else. Here, I don't really care about dancing, right? Because most of my items are complete, right? My Kayn carry is fixed. I just need a shred component. I don't want anybody to hit something crazy. I don't know exactly what the Kabuko rewards are, so I just, like, whatever. I just won't dance. The duelist guy kind of griefed the game. The duelist guy could have been really strong, but he took non-combat. Like me, I have 1 rolling augment, but my other 2 augments are like combat. I'm still not even capped yet because I'm not 6 Dryad, right? As soon as I get to 6 Dryad, I'm a lot stronger. Here I can just make shred, right? I got a component. I took a belt for I don't know what reason, but here I just level to 9. I'm looking for a Azir. I have 2 for 1, right? Just remember, I still have 2 for 1. I'm using 2 for 1 mostly for econ. As you can see, I just buy a random 3 cost so that I get an extra 3 gold that round. Here I just throw in a set. I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing. The set is going to be sold. Because I have the Dryad +1, I'm 100% playing Azir. It is this board plus Azir, right? If I wasn't playing towards 6 Dryad in this particular case, then you could play like a faded, right? You can swap out one of the useless frontline units to make a faded comp. Here, I don't know. I just kind of died because of Ghostly. That happens sometimes, but my Rek'Sai got it. And why does my Rek'Sai got it? Because I have Dryad stacks in, right? I've been stacking Dryad the whole game. So by now, everybody has a bunch of HP. I'm rolling deep now. Econ doesn't really matter here. I really just need to find an Azir. Maybe I hit cane 3. I'm holding a couple canes. I found an Orn 2, so I'm kind of down. I can sell 1 unit, make the Orn. I'll probably sell the Lysandra. I'll put the Lysandra in, sorry. So Lysandra gives Arcanist, which is more beneficial than the Set Warden. And then I'll just sell those two, roll a little bit more, try and find an Azir. Lysandra is better holder of the Shiv in case I don't find the Azir for a couple turns. And I can position it a little bit better so that my Shred is more closer to the Kindred. But yeah, so this guy's kind of black because like all his shit is bad, right? So I don't think they ever beat me without any combat. But anyways, I don't look at the damage output. It's a little bit scary. Oh, do I lose this fight? I might. Oh, my Kayn has to walk. Oh, that's scary. That was scary. But my Kayn has Dryad. That's why the Dryad is really good on Kayn. Because sometimes you get into those situations. And the massive amount of HP you get from 6 Dryad. Even 4 Dryad if you have it stacking. The Kayn could kind of clean up shop if something happens to your Kindred. But that guy basically took, like, I think the Duelist guy there would have been way stronger because March of Progress with Duelist is really, really strong. But if that guy got Duelist +1 or, like, he basically took, like, March of Progress with Prismatic Ticket. You know what I mean? It's kind of useless because what are you going to do with all the gold, right? You can't level and you're rolling all your gold with Prismatic Ticket. So what are you doing? You're just hoarding your gold for what? For more rolls? You know, like, at one point you hit all the 3 stars and then what? Right? You still lose to someone like me who has a combat augment that's really good. Right? Here, I'm kind of just shuffling. I really just want this Azir in. For multiple reasons. Right? I took a Gwynsu because there's nothing else to really take. Gwynsu Shiv, you know, give some attack speed. Make sure the Shred's working. Right? It's not bad. I positioned my Lysandra 1 step behind because I want to make sure that she targets this particular unit. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully Nautilus gets put in the thing before he casts. There we go. Perfect. I think that was RNG though. I think my Lysandra was in a bad spot. I think I RNG'd the Nautilus, even though I was trying to aim for the Nautilus, but we'll take it. If we put him in before he stuns, it's pretty good. Just guarantees that we win the round. This guy, another one on the list, just dead. And there, we find Azir. Yay. 6 Dryad. Now the game's over. Right? If you thought the game wasn't over, now the game's over. We can still hit Gnar 3. If I see a Gnar, I'll obviously buy it. I'm 2 for 1, so you know I can make it happen. Here I'm just making econ. Right? Maybe we go 10. I don't think we're gonna go 10, but maybe we go 10. We could shove an Arcanist for fun. Right? Invoker for fun. Like, there's some stuff we can do. The game probably will end before I hit level 10. I have this as 0-1. Maybe I can hit a 0-2. We'll see what happens. But besides that one fight that my Kindred griefed, we kind of been pretty okay. But anyways, damage output, as per usual, just bang, 1,000 damage. Every time Kindred jumps, she just one-shots everybody. Yeah, they're all dead. It's not only do we have Baboom that does a bunch of damage, I also have 4 Ghostly. And 4 Ghostly isn't that fake, especially with some of the Ghostly buffs. So we are very fucking strong, right? I just sell some units here. I'm probably just going to sell the Bard just to get econ. Right, that's the thing with 2 for 1. 2 for 1, it's not that good to use it unless you're going for multiple 3 stars. Right, I definitely, like, if I didn't have the Dryad +1, that I didn't have this required, I need to make it to level 9 to have a huge power spike, I would have definitely gone for the Gnar 3. It's just for me, it's like with the Dryad and 6 Dryad, my front line is strong enough that I don't really care about the Gnar doing that much damage. I don't have Gnar items, right? Like, I prioritize greeting all my items for Kindred. That I don't have, like, you know, if I had, like, and then I put the other items that would have been on Gnar, I put it on the Kayn already because I didn't have any Gnars, right? Typically when you're playing these reroll lines, you find, like, a mixture of all of the units, right? You find some Gnars, you find some Kindreds, you find, like, you know what I mean? Here I'm just rolling my gold. I don't think I'm going to go 10. You know, hitting a 0-2 is big. I'm making a random Kayn 2, whatever. I'm also 1 off of Gnar, right? If I find 1 Gnar, oh, and there's the mistake. I remember seeing this. You'll see me like circle with my mouse, right? I was moving too fast. What you should do is you lock the shop here because I got dropped a lesser duplicator off of one of the neutral rounds. I lock the shop and then 2 for 1. I buy the Gnar next turn and then I have Gnar 3 guaranteed. So now I still have to find another Gnar, which is really fucking dumb on my part, and I'm sorry about that. But you know, as you can see, I'm circling it. It's like I would just just so excited because all I said to, like, you know, in my head, the same way I'm telling you guys now, all I was thinking is, all I need is a Gnar. All I need is one Gnar. All I need is one Gnar. And then oh shit, there's a Gnar there. And then I bought it. I'm like, oh shit, I should have waited. You know, that's basically what happened. Yeah, we'll just buy a Lowy. Why not? But basically, I'm just looking for one Gnar. You know, there's a chance I hit it. It's not that, the odds aren't that bad. It's 20% to find a Gnar, right? Like, consider that, like, when you're rolling for a 4 cost on level 8, it's like the same odds of finding the 4 cost, right? Obviously, a little bit different because the pool sizes are different. But, like, it's not that difficult to find the Gnar, right? It's not impossible is what I'm saying. On level 9, it's not impossible to find a particular 2 cost. It's very unlikely, but it's not impossible. But I kind of griefed my own game, right? I would have had Gnar 3 by now. But, does it matter? No. Everybody's dead. It's a 1v1. Do you guys think I'm going second? Be honest. Type in the comments if you think I'm going second. Right? I'm not trying to do this to be cocky, by the way. I'm not like doing this. Don't put me on like some pedestal like, oh, this guy's like a snobby guy. I'm kind of just like laughing at how like crazy this comp is. Right? That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm like kind of like, you know, I'm just kind of teasing a little bit. Right? I know that I'm just a Masters level player. Like I know I'm not like a pro. I'm not like the greatest player to ever live. Right? I'm just saying it's so funny to watch this line. And this is like one of my favorite things. I have so much fun. Like, this game was so much fun to me because it's like, whenever I do something where I studied it, like, you know when you study for a test and you get the answer right and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm a G. It's like, you're not actually a G, you know. It's like, oh, I did like the bare minimum, you know. I read the answer and I knew what the answer was, you know what I mean? Like, I read the textbook and I wrote down the right answer, right? You're not actually cool, but you feel cool, right? Like, don't you, like, when you write, like, I don't know if there's like the younger audience on my channel, but you know, like when you were in like high school or university or masters, like I did a master's degree up until like my entire education. If I ever did something good, like if I got something right on a test, I was like, shit, I studied for that, I'm a G, right? That's how it feels. It's like, yeah, I looked up this line, I learned about this, you know. That's why I was, you know. And then I end up not using my duplicator. See, that was just my problem. I could have this Gnar 3 earlier, but I just wasn't efficient. Yeah, I don't see this guy ever beating me. There's nothing he can hit. I can hit a 0-2 though. I think that's the only thing I want to hit. Yeah, so I just sell the Kayn, I roll. I don't want to risk this fight not being the last fight. I don't think they're gonna win. He has double Radiant item Kai'Sa and Xayah, so it's a little bit scary. But like, nah. Watch this. I just have too much HP to chew through, right? Look, my Kayn's still alive, right? Now my Kindred griefed again, but my Kindred at least got her cast off so that like the Kai'Sa died. But this Kayn is unkillable. This Kayn has like 1,000 something HP. So, you know, GG. There we go. So this is a note. Just know, this is the type of things you have to know. It's not something you're going to see on a tutorial, right? Like, you know, if I go on Dish Soap's website, it doesn't say baboom Gnar reroll, right? Or maybe it's there. I don't know. But it's like, these are the type of things where it's like, you look for it, and if you see something in the stats where it's like, oh, this is performing really, really well. Like, before when Dryads were better, now Dryads got nerfed, so the whole comp is a little bit worse. But like, a couple patches ago, it was like minus 1.5 to play Baboom with Kindred. It was like absolutely broken. It was like, you're always playing for first. In this case, like, usually you need 6 Dryad to play for first, but it's a very reliable top 4. And when you're trying to climb and stuff, right, I could have contested the Syndra guy. If the Syndra guy gets a bunch of Syndras and I'm just fucked, it's like, well, now what do I do, right? That's what happens sometimes. So like, if you find angles where it's like, I can like do this and nobody's contesting me. And I also naturaled a lot of Kindreds, right? Like, obviously I hit Kindred 3 really early, but I found a lot of Kindreds early. I started the game off with 2 Kindreds, so it was a really good spot for it, right? With Dryad in, I did have to greed my items, but just take it as a learning lesson. Look at that. I got a first in a Masters lobby, right? There you go. You can do it too. If it worked for me, if you're anywhere in any rank that you are, you can try it out when you see Baboom. If you have Baboom and you have a Kindred on your board and you have AP items, or if you even have 2 Kindreds, right? You can try it out and see what happens, you know? Anyways, bye-bye. Until tomorrow.